Yeah, well, the master said this would be grueling, and he was. Yeah. So, Kenneth, I mean, Richard sort of posed the question really, which was how can reasonable people do this? Do you have any reflections on what might have happened in Fujitsu or the post office?
Well, this is a brilliant evening, and thank you both actually for what you've done as well as what you've said this evening. And it's also hugely embarrassing, etc., etc. But actually, one of the great things about this country is we can have this kind of conversation. And if ever anybody bangs on about negativity about a free press, remember this evening because this is the antidote to that nonsense. But your question is a really important one, I think. And there are two sides to it. I see Charles Hughes over there, and I remember Charles. You will remember as well. A million years ago, we were both in the BCS, as it then was called, where it upgraded itself. And you gave us a lecture. We were all rather dismissive about the idea of professional qualifications. And I remember I was in the room listening, and somebody said, "But you get a Microsoft certificate, you get a something certificate, and that's a good enough profession for our IT. That's very good." And Charles said, and it's stood with me for 20-something years. Charles said, no, but the difference between professional qualification and industrial qualification is if you get it wrong, you get struck off. I remember that it just chilled the whole room, but it's such an important point because that's when the ethics and the technology, the engineering skills come together. Now, why do people then lie and then lie and lie? Well, I've been in business for a very long time and I've experienced lots and lots of lying. I've even given evidence in criminal court against those HBOS scan people. So I've seen how it all goes. And the answer is twofold. I think that you've already answered it already. One is people begin to panic and they try and defend themselves. I think back to my days as a schoolboy, I can honestly say that I wasn't always truthful in some of the things that I was called up for at my time. But that's not about ethics, that's about fear and defense and so on. It's actually a complete absence of ethics. So the difference between what I did when I was a schoolboy, I don't go on this too long, but I'm feeling it's a great disclosure, was I knew I was wrong. I knew I shouldn't have done what I'd done, but I just hoped something might happen to let me off the hook. That's my silver words or something. That's the difference between not knowing I'm doing something wrong and just spieling and saying something because I can. And one of the challenges in IT, and it is an industrial problem for us, in my experience, is so few people understand what we do, how we do it, why we do it, that we aren't challenged. And I think about the numbers of times that I've been to meetings where I've been the only person on the board who knows anything about IT, and some IT person comes in and gives up one of his bollocks presentations, and when challenged by me, hates me because they can't answer the question. Whereas when an accountant comes in and says something which doesn't make sense and is challenged by an accountant, they get into a technical argument about which person is right. So the absence of challenge, professional challenge, engineering challenge in our sector is, I think, the underlying cause of problems here. Because you just say whatever you need to say because no one is going to push back against you. There is no accountability. And I have so many evidential points, but perhaps the best one is I went to an event where the then head of Logica spoke to a group of non-executive directors. And I would say I was certainly the youngest person there, a long time ago. But more importantly, the audience, there was nobody there who had any IT expertise. And they come because they're quite interested to hear what these specimens was like. This chap came in, and he's a famous man, ran Logica, as I say, and he stood in front of us, and he said, I've got one vital piece of information to give all of you here as non-executive directors. And all people got their cards out to write down the notes and all the rest of it. He said, when your IT director comes to the board meeting and says they would like a large amount of money for an IT project, fire them. There was complete silence. People were saying, what did he say? Did he say? Did he say? And then he went on to say, there's no such thing as a big IT project. There's only a major change management project with IT at its core. And by asking for money for an IT project, your CIO has confirmed he doesn't understand that fundamental principle. And that has also stayed with me forever, because if you don't really know what you're doing, you've got a job and you move on. And IT, very few IT directors have been there very long. They move on to another job. Bad IT person gets to be a bad IT person somewhere else. We have a serious problem in the profession, which is it's not a profession.